this section we're going to look at some techniques for the left hand. We've already looked at the right hand with the rhythm technique, the drum rhythm, the bongo rhythm, etc. Now we're going to look at techniques for the left, and the two techniques we're going to address today would be hammers and pulls. These are two of the most useful techniques for you to embellish your chord work. We'll use D major as our example. Now for this first one, a hammer, we're going to take off our first finger. We'll play the open G string, and we're going to hammer our first finger back to the fretboard to create that note. Don't be alarmed if your first attempt sounds like this. It simply means you're not hammering hard enough down. Hammer as far as you can down to the wood to get that note sounding. That's our hammer. We'll just practice that one separately for a few moments. Okay. We'll try now with our second finger. We'll do it on the first string. Try and get a nice clear note. This requires a wee bit more clearance on the left hand. Push forward slightly. And the last one, finally, our wee finger, fourth finger, just hammering on the first string, third fret. Don't be in a hurry to push it down, let the note ring. Now let's listen to those three. Now we're going to try the opposite of that, that's the pull. We'll start with our fourth finger, just place it on the third fret. And we're going to flick the string. If I just don't play the note, just flick the fourth finger down to the ground. Don't simply lift it off, actually flick it. Now let's listen. That's a nice sound now. Good. Let's try now the second finger. Try to get clearance on that. That's a good one. And we'll try now the first finger. Just flick back. Let me just play for a moment using these, and then I'll break it down for you and show you a method in which to build upon it. That's a very pretty sound on the D. Now to build upon it, let's set up what we call a pedal. One finger, third fret, second string, and simply play the fourth string and the second string together. And set up that pulse. Now I'm going to introduce the first finger hammer. Okay. Notice I'm stressing the fourth string to keep the whole thing tied together. Now let's try the same pulse. Let's try now the fourth finger. And we can use the same pulse to experiment with the pull. And the first finger. Now if you take your time with these, play them individually, get the feel of it. Once you've got that, that will apply to all your chords. It's not something that has to be relearnt. You'll have learnt a lot from that, the amount of pressure to make the sound clear. That'll stay with you for all the other chords that we do it on. So it's a very important technique to try and nail. Treat them that there's no order that you have to do them in. Treat it like shuffling a deck of cards. In other words, you could play this one and follow it with this, or this. In other words, just once they're learned individually, remember that all the work's going on here, if you haven't spotted it. The fourth string is open. There was nothing happening on the second string. All the work was being done with fingers 1, 2, and 4, just dancing around this note. So the picking, if you wanted to hammer on the first string, it makes sense to hit the first string. If you want to do a hammer on the third string, and just experiment. This technique can also be used if you were strumming or using any of the techniques, palm muting, thumb and fingers, up and down the ladder. They can be used in any of those techniques. Let me just demonstrate for you. I'm just going to use the thumb and fingers. Remember the bongo rhythm? Strumming. Up and down the ladder. A lot of pretty sounds can come out of that. And these techniques later on will be used for your solos. You'll be using them in single note lines, etc. On any chord.